Hello, my friends. Welcome to Lindy's Magpie Reads. So this is the place where I talk about books, and I have been on a long hiatus with just a couple of videos telling you how I've been doing with healing from a concussion, a brain injury, and so I've got more to tell you today about what's happening with my vision therapy. We're working on visualization. And so I want to talk about what it is that you see when you read. But before I get to that, I want to tell you about my sweater, my cardigan, which I just finished a couple of days ago. And I'm so happy with it. It has taken me 5 months. So that's something like 200 hours of knitting. Each little square is 2 inches, and each one took about 45 minutes to knit. And there are 245 squares, not to mention all of the ribbing that I had to pick up. And it is so cozy and beautiful and everything I dreamed of. So I'm really, really happy with it. The pattern is by Gunderson, and it's called End Times. I'm going to include a link to Ravelry in the notes. So if you're a knitter or you know somebody who knits and you want to convince them to use up scraps of yarn, because this really does use just really tiny amounts. And in my case, I used little balls of yarn that I bought at my Fiber Guild's auction. And this beige color, tan color, is actually camel yarn. And I got this cone as a gift from my sister. So, and there's still lots left. And I still have lots of balls of these little Kiviat 60-40 wool Kiviat blends that I used to make this. But I don't think I'll be making another cardigan, but maybe cowls or something else that's done in a modular style. I am currently reading The True Cost of Wool by Anna Hunter, who is a sheep farmer in Manitoba. If you want to know what the cost would be just to buy the yarn for something like this, I did do some calculations. If I would have had to purchase this Kiviat and camel new instead of how I got it, with partly a gift and partly through this auction, there's about $70 worth of camel in here, and $350 worth of wool Kiviat blend. So we're talking $420 just for the materials. Did I mention it took me about 200 hours to make it? Yeah. So if you see an intricate handmade knit garment for $4,000 or $5,000, that's the reason why. Okay, on to my brain update. Now, prior to the injury, when I was reading a novel, it was like there was a movie going on in my head. All of the actions happening in the book were like in my brain, in my head. Let me know if it's the same for you. I've talked to some of my other reader friends, including my sisters, and they get the same thing. Since the concussion, no pictures. It's just been words, almost like an audiobook in my head as I read. And I hadn't realized how much I was missing those images until a little over a week ago, when my vision therapist said we're going to start on visualization now. And she asked me to visualize a light bulb in my head and then asked me questions about it. What kind of light bulb? Is it on or off? And I'm going like, wait. I had a very brief image of a light bulb and it's gone now. Let me try and get it back. And I realized I was struggling to picture anything in my head. She had me picture other things instead, like our front door at the house, and asked me, what color is it? But it was already gone. I mean, I could tell her that our door's brown, but I couldn't keep that picture in my head. And next I tried our pets, and I was able to picture Joni, our dog, as if she was a photograph, but not able to sort of imagine her as she's moving around. And I tried picturing our cat. I could get her green eyes, but not the rest of her, you know? And so that was what I worked on for a full week of picturing. And I found that things like the animals, because I could add other senses as part of the visualization, like what their cat fur feels like as I'm petting her and what she sounds like. And then also food. So a pineapple. Pineapples were on sale, really sweet pineapples from Costa Rica. I could picture the top of the pineapple and then the bottom of the pineapple. And then I was able to do both together and picture myself chopping it up on the cutting board. So gradually, over the period of a week, I was able to hold images for slightly longer in my mind's eye. And I've got more exercises to work on this week, having to do with colored pieces, trying to remember what I saw and recreate them. And I've also been working on visualizing things that don't exist in real life. And it's harder. So, for example, I was imagining a maple leaf, and I could see it as a red maple leaf, and I was trying to see it as a green leaf, like it would be on the tree before the autumn colors. I was having a lot of trouble shifting it to green. And also, I kept seeing a more stylized maple leaf like we have on the Canadian flag. So I decided to go with that. Picturing the Canadian flag, I could do that. And then I tried to turn the maple leaf and the colored bars on the side of the flag green. I could get the bars green with white in the middle, could not switch that red maple leaf to a green color initially. But over the course of several days, I finally was able to picture the Canadian flag as if the colors were green and white, and then blue and white, and then yellow and white. So I'm starting to feel like, yes, I can get pictures back in my head. At the most recent visit to vision therapy, the therapist cautioned me that I might not be able to regain the entire visualizing ability that I used to have before the concussion, but maybe I will. So that made me a little sad, but we'll see. So to those of you who are Americans, I want to wish you happy Thanksgiving and tell you about a play that I read, Thanksgiving play. It's by Larissa FastHorse, who is Sicangu Lakota, and she is the first known female Native American playwright to be produced on Broadway. And it was with this play, Thanksgiving play. And the reason I picked it up is because Andrea over at Read and Reread has been doing an endless drama project where she's reading a couple of plays every month. And this was one of them. It was available to me on the Hoopla database at my library, so I was delighted to have read it. It is very funny. It is satire. It's kind of horrifying or cringeworthy maybe, in the sense that it is 4 white people who are putting on a play, a Thanksgiving pageant for elementary school students. And they are just trying so hard to be culturally sensitive. Well, in an interview, Larissa FastHorse said that she'd been told that her plays were hard to produce because it was hard to find Indigenous actors for them. So she wrote this play especially for white presenting actors. I highly recommend it. And speaking of Indigenous people, turns out Thomas King isn't one of them. He is an American-born Canadian writer who's 82 years old, and his mother told him that his father was part Cherokee, and his father left when Thomas was 3 years old, so he didn't know him. And a number of years ago, there were rumors that Thomas King was not Cherokee, but he said that he himself dismissed those rumors, and it wasn't until recently that he had genealogists look into his father's ancestry, and there's absolutely no Cherokee, no Indigenous ancestry of any kind. So he wrote an essay in the Globe and Mail, I think it came out a couple of days ago. It was called A Most Inconvenient Indian. There are stories in the CBC and the Quill and Choir. I will include links below. Yesterday, Wednesday, it was reported that King had withdrawn his forthcoming novel that was to come out in the spring of 2026. It was the 9th book in the Dreadful Water mystery series. I did recently listen to Thomas King's most recent novel. It's called Aliens on the Moon. The audiobook is read by Trevor Hinton. And I really do appreciate Thomas King's dry sense of humor. In this novel, it's small town Ontario. It moves between a sort of a rotating cast of characters. And what's happened is an alien ship has landed on the moon, and everybody is blaming their troubles on the aliens. And at some point, it's reported that the ship has landed on Earth in southern Alberta on a Blackfoot reservation. I think it might be the Kainai Nation. Anyway, the people there are not allowing anybody onto their reserve until Canada settles some outstanding treaty claims. So I'm not sure how I feel about Thomas King's delay in, like, it's taken a few years before he's finally addressed this question about whether or not he is Indigenous. But I am giving him the benefit of the doubt that it started out being an innocent mistake. So moving on to real Blackfoot authors, or actually in the south of the US-Canada border, the Blackfoot Confederacy, the people are called the Blackfeet. And you've probably heard of the author Stephen Graham Jones, who is Blackfeet. And his most recent novel is Buffalo Hunter, Hunter. I listened to the audiobook that has 3 different narrators. It is historical fiction that's also a vampire story, and it's got 3 time periods: 1870, 1912, and 2013. It's written in the form of transcribed interviews, and here's a line that I loved. "What I am is the Indian who can't die. I'm the worst dream America ever had." This is a long book. The audio is 15 hours, and it is so good. They've used audio production sound effects, as well as having the 3 narrators, and yeah, very, very well done. It did remind me of another Indigenous novel that has a vampire in it, Man-Made Monsters by Andrea Rogers, that I read a few years ago. Now, Andrea Rogers is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. And this book does have a vampire element and a story of a Cherokee family across centuries. I'm going to tell you about one more book. It is a children's picture book, a counting book by Tanya Tagaq, with illustrations by Pootoogook. They are both Inuk creators. Tanya is the author of Split Tooth. She's also a throat singer. She's from Iqaluit in Nunavut. And the book is It Bears Repeating. Pootoogook is a carver and printmaker. He's the brother of Annie Pootoogook, another famous artist, and they are from Kingaite in Nunavut. This was a finalist for the Governor General Young People's Literature Illustrated Books category. And it is a dual language counting book, so it's in both Inuk and English. It has got such playful use of vocabulary. So, for example, bears as animals, bears as to continue to have something, and bears as in exposing your teeth. And then so many adjectives and descriptive words like proud, tall, long, perfect, slippery, peckish, icy, cool, sharp, strong, crafty, full, round-bellied, bright, happy, and cunning. And then these present participles that are used as adjectives: sliding, running, swimming, hunting, staring, munching, snoring, slumbering, and waving. And the rhymes: one proud bear, stretching up to sniff the air. Internal rhymes and repeated letters: waddle away until another day. And it's beautiful. I'm such a huge fan of Inuit art. And that is all I've got for you today. So thank you so much for watching. And I really appreciate hearing from you. So please do say hello in the comments and thank you for all of the comments and encouragement that you gave me in my last video. It means a lot to me. Do let me know if you see pictures, static or moving pictures when you read. I'm really curious about that. Thanks again. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.